Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. My name is Davion. I'm back with my boy Matt.
What up?
And today we are talking about the NFL playoffs. Round one, the wild card round was, ups and downs in some of these games. Some of these games were atrocious.
Most of these
Most
games.
of these games were atrocious. Actually, some of these games were actually okay. But regardless, we're going to talk about the games last week, and then we're going to talk about the upcoming weekend of football. But Matt, how are you doing? How was your first your wild card weekend for the NFL?
It was so-so, Davion. I think, looking back in my bracket, I'm honestly happy with how I picked, but just the games itself were just a little boring to me. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think when I watch it, I think I watch all these games, which like it's very
Yeah, me
unlike
too.
me. Like I don't really like I'll watch games, but like I don't make it a priority to watch football games. Like I just don't. It's because my life is different, and my Saints suck, so it is what it is. But I watched all these games this weekend, like let's just jump right into it talking about it. Like let's talk about the Denver Broncos versus the Buffalo Bills. This was a game that, when the first drive, Matt texted in our group chat, the post game group chat was like, I told you, Davion, this game's gonna be different. And then yeah, what happened?
Um, well, first of all, I said this was going to be a close game because I thought the Broncos could actually, prove me wrong, but I was wrong. The Bills are just that good.
Yeah.
So Bo Nix has that crazy downfield play to Franklin, to Oregon Ducks, by the way. Um, and then that's it. Nothing happened. Denver just looked lost. They looked confused. They didn't want to play. Bills are just too dominant. They're out for blood this year. They are probably the hungriest when it comes to the playoff teams, when it comes to the Super Bowl. Um, I mean, great game overall by Josh Allen. Let's see. Let's pull up the stats real quick. 272, two touchdowns, six incompletions. James Cook with 120 yards and a touchdown. I mean, it was just a clinic throughout.
I mean,
So,
something I noticed about all these games, especially like the Bills game, the Ravens game, even the Eagles game as well, is that these all three of those games, like they had a game plan which was running the football and effectively dominating the run when it comes to running the
right.
football, and they did it. And they all did a tremendous job while running the football, and it showed. And like we're gonna talk about the Ravens game here in a second, but that game was just like incredible. But my thing when I look at the Buffalo Bills, they're a team that can and should make it into the Super Bowl this year. I think it's their game to lose against against the Baltimore this week, and I think when I look at the Buffalo Bills, is that they are dominant, and no one feels that they're above each other. They all know their roles, and like they look like the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, with teams that are great that know they're great, they win football games based off of the way that they perform, based off of the
Not even
way that
like
they know they need to play, and that's what this team has been.
they just look
And
better than the Chiefs, though, when you talk about this year.
for
I
sure, yeah,
mean,
yeah, for absolutely. But I was just thinking about like more of the Chiefs as a scheme over the past three,
oh
four,
yeah,
5 years. And so I think like this Buffalo Bills team is rolling on all cylinders, and I think Baltimore or not Baltimore, Denver, they're just not ready yet. I think they have obviously a rookie quarterback. They have a young system. They have a lot of young players, a lot of young athletes, but they'll be back. They will definitely be back in a couple
yeah.
years,
I
and
mean, the fact that they went from Russell Wilson, that whole chaos, and then a year later they're in the playoffs is pretty impressive,
actually, I think they
nonetheless.
said that they were the first team in NFL history to be last or pretty close to the bottom in like in cap space and make the
Right.
playoffs. So, I
Yeah.
mean, kudos to Sean Payton, kudos to that team for like, still kicking ass even while having no money to spend. So, yeah, but that was a big game this weekend for the Buffalo Bills. Definitely came as a game that they needed to put on their map because they need to show why they are really who they are. Um, and so next up, we have a game to me that was like, um, I wouldn't call it a clown show per se. Um, but it was a show of force. It was a show of dominance, and it looked like from the start to the end, this Ravens team knew that they were going to win this football game. It was almost like the Ravens had no doubt in their minds. that they're going to lose this football game. No doubt at all. And I think when I look at that, like that's incredible. Absolutely
Yeah.
incredible watching that.
I mean, Ravens have just been dominant all year. They're the
Hmm.
better team. Pittsburgh, I don't know what happened because they had this incredible start and then they lost like what, three or four straight,
Four straight
including
to
the
end of the year.
playoffs. I mean,
Five straight, including the playoffs.
and I saw another stat. TJ Watt didn't have a single stat last game.
Woo.
He did nothing, which obviously, granted, it's not his fault, but
Yeah.
um, they're, Baltimore, they're just the better team. Let's look at Lamar's stats.
I
16
got
for
him.
21. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, go for it,
I
Davion.
mean, 16 for 21, 170, 175 in the air, two touchdowns passing, 15 runs, 81 yards. Derrick Henry, 26 carries, 186 yards, two touchdowns. Here's the thing. When a team establishes that they're going to run the football, whether that's with Lamar or with Derrick Henry or whoever, that's what they're going to do, and that's what they did. I will say this about this Baltimore Ravens team. When I look at them, I see a team that controlled time of possession.
Oh yeah.
That's what won them this football game. They had the ball in the first half for 19 and some minutes.
Hmm.
Steelers had the ball for 10 minutes, and it showed. That first drive, that first opening drive they had was 15 plays for 99 yards, and it took seven minutes and 13 seconds. Like what?
Yeah, I mean,
Another a drive in the second quarter, 15 plays, 85 yards, 8 minutes.
and
Like,
then like when you
yeah,
look at like Pittsburgh, it was just like three
three
and
and out,
out
three
in
and
the
out, three
first
and out.
half.
Yep.
Nothing, nothing. And then they kept it a little close, but it didn't matter ultimately because
No.
Baltimore just, as you said, controlled the clock and they just did everything they could. To me, this was just, I mean, it was a blowout in the beginning. Obviously, the scoreboard doesn't really say it's a blowout, but it was a bad game for Pittsburgh. Great win for Baltimore. I think this was definitely going to be one of the best matchups we've seen in a while. Buffalo versus Baltimore
Yeah.
this week. I'm excited. I'm so thrilled for that game. So,
So, I mean, when you look at, I mean, you want we can, like we can predict that right now if you want, or you want to wait.
let's wait
All right,
because
we can wait.
there's a lot to
Let's
that game.
jump. Let's jump to this. No, actually, one more thing on the Steelers, and then we'll go from it. Pittsburgh Steelers. You can argue that mediocrity of being over 500 every season is what they've been for the past 10, 15 years. You can argue that this Steelers team is very plateau. I think they need a number one receivers because I don't think George Pickens is the number one receivers personally.
I agree with you.
Um, but the people are calling for Mike Tomlin to get fired. How do you feel about that?
No, I don't think he needs to get fired. I think there should be some coaching changes though within his system because clearly something's not working,
When he hired Arthur Smith, I
right?
was like, what the heck is he
And
doing?
you can argue, I heard another great thing. Well, where, you know, here's an example. So like Philadelphia, they have a veteran O-line and a young quarterback.
Yep.
Steelers, it's flipped. You have a young O-line with a veteran quarterback, which to me doesn't really work in the NFL because like obviously Russ, he was decent. He wasn't,
Yeah.
blowing out people. He wasn't like going crazy like he was back in Seattle, but he was manageable. To me, like that's where I think they should have had Fields in for the whole year because I think he could just do better when it comes to his mobility and such. Um, the O-line obviously is young. There's still a lot of missing pieces on that offense. I think they can figure it out because Pittsburgh, just the culture itself there is always great. But if you can only win those 9, 10 games and get bounced in the first round, it's great. It's filling the seats, but if you're not moving on past the wild card, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I Pittsburgh will always be fine. They will always be a good team. They will always be a good organization. It's just they need to find that one, maybe two pieces that'll put them over the edge. So I don't know what that can be. I don't know if players have to step up. I don't know if they need to go and draft someone, sign someone. We'll see what happens.
So, okay, here's my thing. You look at this Steelers team. Do Who's the quarterback going into next year?
I think it should be Justin Fields, like I argued, because I don't know. They to me they just looked better as a team when
Yeah.
he was playing. And obviously with how the NFL is, like there's so many mobile quarterbacks now. And yes, Russ can be mobile, but he's past his prime. He's not as who we thought he was or who we thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
And with Fields, they just look way better. So,
You think
um,
Justin?
I think so. I think they should do it. I don't know what they do with Russ. I think they just keep Russ because I think they only have him on a 1 year.
Yeah, it was just a one
Or
year, so now
just
they're gonna have to
just
make
let
a
him
decision.
test free agency. Um, or maybe do you dare? They wouldn't draft a QB this year because to me the QB class isn't that
Yeah,
good. But
no. I mean, I think it'd be interesting. I think there's gonna be a lot of quarterbacks this year that are gonna be all over the place.
yeah,
It's obviously those two are gonna have to figure out who's gonna keep what. But anyway, moving on. The game that we both got wrong. Uh,
oh
the Chargers
man,
versus the Texans. Um,
awful.
what happened?
Herbert might not be him.
Or
It's
does he
just
need a
simple.
number one receiver? That's what I've been saying here.
No, Davion. Lad McConkey had 9 catches for 197 yards.
Jesus
I
Christ.
don't think he. That's not the problem. They have Lad. Yeah, they got a dog. Okay. The problem is what was the stat? So Herbert going into this game had I think 3 or 4 turnovers total on the season,
Four.
and he
Yeah.
had 4 picks just in this game. Granted, one of them wasn't his fault. It bounced off the hands of I think it was Will Disley or whoever, and it was a pick six. The three others, though,
We're all
terrible.
him.
Overthrow. Yes, of course.
Just missing.
Overthrows, miscommunication. The O line, I will say, was pretty bad too. Houston's defense just looked way better. Um, and yeah, just Herbert, I don't know what it was. Just Herbert, when it comes to the big games, he just doesn't seem to finish, which sucks because, like we say, he's got all this
Oh,
talent. He's
we love the kid.
incredible. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm always gonna like watch and respect and love his game, but if he's not winning in these big games, then what's the point? You know? You can put up all these stats, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day if you're not winning. So
And I agree. And I think when I look at this game, like this game was very like unorthodox.
it was
I
just weird. It was
Yeah,
bizarre.
it wasn't a great game when it comes to like eye candy whatsoever. I think when I look at this team, like I think they need to like they ran the ball 16 times, 5 times with Dobbs, 7 times with Edwards. They need to like take the pressure off of Justin Herbert. That's what they need to do, in my opinion. Because I think like there's just way too much pressure on him to make those
I
big
mean,
throws,
but
those
he's the
mistakes. So,
quarterback, dude.
no, obviously I know that, but
He's
also
your
like
franchise.
yeah, I mean, but you look at Lamar, he's not throwing the ball 32 times a game.
True.
Like obviously
Because
I get it, they have Derrick Henry. I mean, you have two good backs in Gus Edwards and J.K.
Dobbins,
Dobbins. Like they're both two good backs that you can also like run them up. Make them run the ball 15 times a piece a game. Like
right.
take some pressure off of your quarterback. If your offensive line, which they have been all season long, have been decent, let them make them work. And I think there's just they just I know he's your guy, but he can get out of the pocket as well. Like I just think they need to take some pressure off of him. And I think, Harbaugh will. Like I think he understands it. He gets it, obviously. And I think it's just a matter of time before they get clicking. I mean, first year new head coach, pretty much brand new team. They'll be fine. Like I'm not
Yeah.
worried about this Chargers team whatsoever. I think they'll be back.
hmm Houston, on the other hand, it
Houston,
was
I
a
mean,
good win.
but they
Their
did.
defense to me carried. Stroud was solid. He
Yeah,
had 22 for 33, 282, one touchdown, one interception. The interception was a little bizarre.
yeah.
Um, Joe Mixon had 106 yards and a touchdown. Nico Collins had 7 catches for 122 and a touchdown.
But you know what's crazy about the Joe Mixon is that he was on 25 carries.
Right. That's a lot. That's
So,
a
and that's
lot of
my
damn
thing.
carries.
Granted,
I mean,
that's my
Derek was at
thing.
26.
Yeah, they
So,
have to like if you're going to commit to it, you have to commit to running the football, in
right.
my opinion.
And but special teams and defense won Houston this game.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, they had what, two pick sixes.
Yeah.
They had a blocked field goal that they took back for 2 points.
Hmm.
Um, pretty goofy the way they did it. But
Even watching it, it was like, what are we doing?
I was like, what is going on? Like, this is just not
Game is
real.
awful.
Um, but yeah, good win for Houston. Go off to face Kansas City. That will be interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Oh, interesting. Interesting as an understatement. Oh. So when we look at the NFC, that was the AFC. Look at the NFC. Starting out the Packers versus the Eagles. And there's not many games that I'm very passionate about, and I want to get my point across on. This is definitely one. When I watched this game, for a team to be so-called the best team, one of the best team in the NFL, for a team to go into halftime up 10-0 versus a Packers team who played horribly. It's one of the worst Packers performances I've
Terrible.
seen in the past 10 years.
And it's funny because you can
Eagles fans are
argue.
like, Eagles fans are like, oh, we got,
Oh,
oh,
I feel like Eagles fans are pissed that they won like this. I feel like
no, 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 no. It's the complete opposite. I get Eagles fans who are like, "Oh, we played so great. Like, we're gonna win
no,
this
they
thing."
did
If I
not.
was an Eagles fan after watching that, I would be
That's just
uncomfortable.
like okay. Jordan Love had a bad game.
Oh,
Fair
horrible
enough.
game.
Horrible game. He also, I think like three of his starting receivers got hurt in that game, which
Hmm.
just kind of destroyed the whole momentum
He
that
kept
they
killing him.
sort of had. Oh, it was bad.
He
I
kept killing him.
mean, it was just ugly throughout, and it's worse that Green Bay literally had multiple chances to tie the game or to keep it close, and they
Hmm.
just could not dig themselves out of that hole. I mean, I think Jalen Hurts had like 50 something passing yards to end the first half. Like it was ridiculous how mediocre he was playing.
And they missed
And
the field
then
goal too, going in a
right,
half.
they missed the field goal going in a
They
half.
should have been down by
Um,
7.
Saquon did his thing, 25 carries, 119 yards. Probably could have scored. Probably had more yards at that last play if you didn't slide.
Yeah.
Um, AJ Brown though, 1 catch for 10 yards. Um, Obviously we saw the whole meme of him reading the book on the sideline. I don't know if he's just being funny or if it's an ego thing. I'm not going to get into that, but it's kind of starting to aggravate me, and I'm starting to hate Philly a lot more. So
You know what's crazy is
yeah,
that AJ Brown, like that team, like again, when you have a back like Saquon Barkley who can give like, again, he's running the ball for 20, he ran the ball 25 times. 25 times. And like when you establish that you are going to run the football, you have and I think this year I think this year really showed us that like running backs are a necessity.
right.
You need to pay
You look
your
at
running backs.
Saquon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
I mean, was there like almost 7 to 10 thousand yard rushers this year,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is like
easily.
unheard of.
Easily. I mean, you go to
So,
Buffalo, you go to Kansas City, you go,
City, you go Carolina, Chuba Hubbard,
yeah.
Bucky Irving as a rookie had 1,000 yards.
Bucky Irvin was incredible this season.
Incredible.
And so my biggest thing is that you got Eagles. Like if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm not happy the way we played.
Not at
They
all.
played awful. They did not play great.
And what sucks is this is the best roster in the league. And they're putting up only, to me, they should be putting up more points, or it should be more dominant than it needs to. Obviously, it's the playoffs, things are different, but that
Yes.
doesn't matter. You're supposed to be the big dog this year, supposed to be the best team in the league, and you're barely competing with the Packers, who are just depleted at this point
They should have went into halftime up
by at least 20.
at least at least 20. They should have and Green Bay gave them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I mean, you scored a touchdown, but the
10
only
nothing at a
touchdown you
half.
scored was at after 28-yard line because they got a fumble on the opening kickoff.
I mean,
And that's That's
They
it.
had, yeah. And I hate that the fact that the only thing we can clown Philly on is not scoring enough. That just pisses me off even more.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for them to lose.
Because,
They're gonna lose.
right, I'm just waiting because people that know I can't stand Philly. I think they're so overrated when it comes to the big time games. And honestly, I'm praying that Detroit faces them this year in the playoffs. And oh boy, I would just love to see like the Lions just seeking out revenge
Yeah.
to what happened to them last year and just blowing the roof off of everybody, going crazy.
I
So
mean, will they make it that far?
I know we'll see. We'll see.
They got to play the Rams. So
Nope.
next up we have actually, and I want to say one more thing about the Packers. Jordan Love played his worst game. That team played the worst game that I've
Yeah,
seen in a long
he's not
time.
that contract is not looking too bright right
Yeah,
now.
it's not, but I'm not gonna kill him that bad, Like
No.
think like I'm not gonna hold him in contempt for that. Like I think some guys have their bad. They have rough days, and I think he'll be better. He will definitely be better. But moving on, the Commanders, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, great game this was.
Argue the best game out of all of them.
Yeah.
Down to the wire. Came
You have a
came
very
down to a literal
electric.
doink.
Oh, yo, talking about getting it. Talking like he was on it. He understood the assignment. And I think you look at this team as like what I watched about this Commanders team is that they didn't give up. They were down a majority of this game. They didn't give up. They worked
Right.
hard. They figured it out, and they did it. And it was great. Like it was amazing watching this team. And it was. I mean, they got the win. They deserved that win. They got that win, and I predicted that win. So that makes me happy too.
Yeah. I mean, Jaden Daniels having a great rookie year.
That guy.
24 for 35, 268, two touchdowns. Didn't do too much when it came to running, only 36 rushing yards, but yeah, the rushing was not that good today, but I
Yeah.
mean, it was just a clinic when it came to the passing game because Tampa Bay like has one of the worst secondaries in my opinion because they're just so beat up and
Yeah.
it's just a very mediocre team when it comes to their defense. On the Bucks case, Bucks played a good game, 3-point game, literally came down to the last play.
Yep.
There was some costly things that happened. Baker had a crucial fumble that led to a touchdown for the Commanders, I believe. There was like a 3rd and 1 where there was like a miscue with the snap, and basically the Commanders were all on it, and they could have, potentially scored, but I think they got a field goal out of it.
Yeah.
Um, just little things. I mean, it happens. It happens to the best of them. So
That fumble from Baker was rough.
bad. That was bad.
Rough. Rough, rough, rough.
Um, Baker, 15 for 18, 185, two touchdowns. Pretty solid day. Bucky Irving, 17 carries, 77 yards. I'm happy for the guy.
Yeah.
Mike Evans went off against Lattimore once again.
Bro, okay, okay. Whoa, whoa. Show some respect. But definitely,
Once again.
definitely had Marshawn in a blender the entire time. The entire time.
Yep.
And it was sad to see, obviously being a Saints fan, it was rough seeing Marshawn just he couldn't hold him. He could not hold him. Marshawn came into the game with emotion. Um, obviously, what's his face did not. Mike Evans. Like Mike
Mike
Evans
Evans.
was like about business the entire time. He didn't get into the antics. He wasn't doing it. Like and it was great to watch. I mean, he torched him every chance that he got.
Right.
Every chance that he got.
So yeah. Um, Nothing really else to say. I
Yeah.
mean, good win for the Commanders. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, for sure. And so next up, man, this game here, like Vikings versus the Rams, like talking about
You know, I'll just say this, Davion. I believe in the previous episode I said the Vikings would win because they're a better team. And then I relooked at my board that I made before the first episode and I picked the Rams. And now I'm pissed because I didn't realize that the Vikings would only put up 9 points in the playoffs. They haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks,
yeah.
mind you. Um, it was just a beatdown from beginning to end. The Rams had 6 sacks in the first quarter alone, finished with 8. Darnold didn't really know what he was doing. Obviously, the game was kind of over and out of reach at that point for him to be able to do anything. It was just bad all around for the Vikings. They just did not look good. They did not look ready at all.
Completely agree. I mean, when I was watching that game, I saw um it was over. Like I you know,
When the Rams got that scoop and score
oh yeah.
burst, their rookie, I was like, ball game. There's no point. Like it was bad.
When I
It was really
watched
bad.
there's always a tell that every team has. And I think the tell for the Rams is when Kevin O'Connell is losing his mind.
Hmm.
Always. Because Kevin O'Connell is a very easygoing guy. He's like Sean McVay, very cool to the point. He understands it. When I watched and when I watched Kevin O'Connell lose his mind, and I'm not gonna lie to you, there were a couple calls that they just got shafted on. There were like they were dealing with a couple. I was like, that's tough, you know. But you know, Kevin O'Connell was losing his mind the entire game, and I felt bad for him because it's like, man, like, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's sad to see them lose after going 14-3. Um, you know what it felt like? It felt like when the Cardinals went 10-6 and Cliff Kingsbury came first year.
Yeah,
Remember
that's a good
that?
one.
Like, they were high offense all season long. They, one of the most electric defenses in the league, and then they get bounced in the first and second round. And it's like it's a tough pill to
Hey,
swallow.
all I'm saying is
JJ.
people were saying, "Oh, Baker, obviously Baker and Darnold have incredible years."
Yeah.
Now look at them, you know?
Yeah.
Um, the Rams, on the other hand, great. That was just like the best team performance I've seen out of any team this week,
Oh yeah.
besides Houston. Um, just total beatdown. Like nothing was going right for Minnesota. Like I said, everything was clicking for the Rams. Stafford, let's look at his numbers real quick. 19 for 27, 209 with 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, 16 rushes for 76 yards. Cooper Kupp, 1 catch for 29. A little
Yeah.
quiet, but I don't think it really mattered. They were just going all over
They
when it
were
came to
firing on all
defense.
cylinders. Offense,
Right.
defense, special teams. And that's how you know a team's great. And that's how you know a team is going to play really well. Is when all three are on one. And that's usually what I say about Detroit, man. Detroit, they understand it. Like they get it. When all three cylinders are all aligned, there's no
Yep.
one who can stop that team.
Sorry, Minnesota allowed 9 sacks.
Sheesh.
That's so bad.
I mean,
Oh
Darnold, he needs
man.
to get that ball out, but still,
Oh,
nine
nine's terrible. That's
nine's
no, no, that's inexcusable.
yeah.
I don't blame Darnold had a bad game, of course, but I'm not putting that blame on him mainly. That's
No,
not his
no,
fault.
no. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna give him all the blame for sure. So,
Um, yeah.
we look at the predicting now.
This is a
We look
tough one.
at
This is let's pull these games back up real quick.
do you have it? You just look at the screen on Zoom.
I know, I know.
Oh,
I'm
oh,
just
okay. Um,
just enlarging
starting
it.
with
Let's go NFC this time because I
NFC
think these are
first.
the oh,
These are the
actually,
yeah. So, I mean,
we'll go NFC because these are a little weaker in my opinion.
starting with the Rams versus Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, like we just said, didn't look great,
Oh, they're still gonna win.
but they're still gonna win. You got the Eagles to win this game?
I think Philly still wins just based on the roster alone. Um, like we've always said, coaching is more important in the playoffs, in my opinion. I would be shocked if the Rams pulled off this upset in Philadelphia. Um, to me, this game is going to be, I don't know, man. This is going to be a close one. This is going to be one of the closer ones, I think.
Listen,
Um,
I'm here for it. I'm call call me crazy. Give me the upset.
you're going Rams.
I'm going Rams.
What do you have for the score wise?
Oof. What was the score for the Rams game this weekend?
So they
What
won 27-9, and then Philly won 22-10.
If here's my thing, if the Rams stop the run and make
I think if they stop the run, I think they have it in the bag.
yeah, and if they get
Period.
takeaways on defense, it's over.
Like one or two. Not even like they
They
don't
don't even
even
need
need to
yeah,
be
they don't even need more than one or two. I agree.
like if they just stop Saquon Barkley, they have a really good
Stop
chance to
Saquon,
win.
get them behind the sticks every chance that they get, and
Yep.
this game's gonna be over fast. Fast.
Yep.
Um, but I think the Eagles are really dominant. Um,
But they, they look dominant, but I mean, at
I
what
mean, hopefully though
cost,
they come out. I mean, they should come out playing much better than they did last week.
They should.
If they thought
So
last week was like their was good, then they should have left that game last week disappointed, genuinely disappointed.
I think this will be, I will say this, I think this is going to be a huge game for AJ Brown. And that's the
Yeah,
only reason why I think they'll win this is because the Rams secondary is not as good as
yeah,
people think.
but
And
I don't
Jalen
trust.
Hurts is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but I don't trust Jalen Hurts to like beat a team with his arm personally.
Oh, I agree with you on that. But yeah, I'll reluctantly pick the Eagles, and I'll say it's 24-21 Philly.
I'll be devil's advocate. I'll go Rams just to spice
Okay.
some things up. I usually never do this, but I'm feeling froggy tonight. Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams. So Commanders versus the Detroit Lions. Lions
Oh,
a couple weeks off to get healthy.
this might be my favorite game.
A couple weeks off to relax a little bit. What are you thinking going into this game?
Okay, so let's look at the Lions. So they're getting back
16
David
teams on
Mon 16 players in
or
IR,
teams.
mostly on their defense.
Yeah,
They've managed to have this makeshifty defense and still look elite. They have David Montgomery coming back from his injury,
yeah,
it sounds like. They have I believe it's who's the corner they drafted? Arnold? Is it Dan Arnold?
probably. I'm terrible with names, so I'm not
Their
sure.
first round pick is coming back from injury too, so that's a big boost. Um, they they just need to stop the run. That's kind of it, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
My okay, here's my thing with it. I look at a team who has the best offense, defense, special coaches, and best one of the best head coaches in the league. I see a team who have had some time to get healthy, who knows what the plan is, who knows what the goal is, who's been here before. I see a team that's hungry, and I think this game will be close. I think seven, max 10 points separate these two teams. Um, but I see a Commanders team who's very hungry, who's very young, who was very willing, and they don't give up. Both of these teams don't. But I don't think this team is ready yet. I think this Commanders team is really about to be in for a shell shocking um, of dominance. And I think this Lions team comes out and they hit them in the head fast. I think they
that's what
come
I was
out and
gonna
they
say.
dominate. You know?
I I think I think the Lions, like I said, they're looking for revenge. They're smelling blood in the water.
Oh yeah.
They want this bad, and I think everybody wants this bad.
Hmm.
Um, I think the Lions. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 20-point blowout. I could really see that it
Yeah.
just being an absolute murder for no reason at all.
I'm here for it.
I would love it. I would love to see that. And the whole Jared Goff narrative that he's not a good QB. I still think he's a top 10 QB in the league, and I will
There's no
always
debate.
stick by
That
that.
shouldn't be a debate anymore, in my opinion. There shouldn't be a
Um,
debate.
Jahmyr Gibbs has been incredible. Amon-Ra,
Yeah.
what else can you say about him? Um, I think, yeah, it'll be at least a 20-point difference for sure.
I'm excited. I definitely got the Lions. Yeah, we both got Lions, yeah.
Of course.
So let's
Mhm.
talk about the Chiefs and the Texans, because I think that game will be the
To me,
least.
this might be the other blowout,
So I'm right there with you.
actually.
I think
Yeah.
in the NFL, if you give a team, there's only one team in my opinion in the NFL. If you give them time, 24 days to rest and recover and game plan, they're gonna blow you out the water, and it's Kansas City Chiefs. I think
Right.
you give Patrick Mahomes 25 days to relax, have a go have a kid. You give that Chiefs team time to get healthy. You have Watson, Travis, Kelsey,
D Hop,
D Hop,
Pacheco's
Isaiah
back,
Pachinko, um,
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. You
Honestly,
give
probably one of the
you
worst
give
rosters they've
him
had.
5 to 7 to 8 of his number one guys. I- I'm Houston doesn't know what's about to happen to them. I think this
And
game's gonna
this
be
is
a 21 point blowout.
see, this is the thing too, though. I don't think the Chiefs really have their full team. Like this is not what was supposed to happen. And they're
No.
still 15 and 1.
Oh,
Sorry, 15 and 2.
I mean, this isn't even like this. Yeah,
Like
literally, like they
if
have played
they
the worst that
if
they've
they had
played.
Rashid Rice still, if they
Yeah.
did trade for D Hop still, if they had that squad with them,
Oh my goodness.
oh my goodness. Um, but yeah, like you said, I don't think it's going to be close. And here's the thing: the Chiefs, you know, they do enough to win, just make the playoffs. Once it's playoff time, it's a completely different story, no matter
Um,
what.
I mean,
They they are on another level of excellence
oh yeah.
when it comes to how good a team can play. And that's why I'll just say it now. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Or
Uh-oh,
sorry, whoa.
that's crazy.
They will make the Super Bowl because one, they have probably the easiest schedule to make it.
Yeah.
Then just the whole three-peat aspect, they're definitely chasing for that. They just know how to win in these big time games. So you said a 20-point blowout or 21-point
I
blowout?
think 20 points.
I'll agree with you.
I mean, I
I'll do
think we
that one.
see if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl and the Lions make the Super Bowl, I think we see a Philly special style
Oh my God, that game's gonna be crazy.
for the Lions, and the Lions end up winning. But regardless, we're far from that. I think the Chiefs are a team right now that like we said, you give them time to game plan, they're gonna dominate. And I mean, it's going to be a clinic, in my opinion, an absolute clinic. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to watching this game.
Mhm.
But yeah, I got the Chiefs winning against the Texans. So um look it up next. You have
The game of the week.
game of the week. You have a
My
Bills team that have
second
been
favorite.
arguably known for being the most dominant team in the NFL. You have a Ravens team, who has been
Who's
also
also been
known as
dominant.
having, an MVP, offensive player of the year. You
And
have,
you can argue with that with the Bills. They also got a
yeah,
potential MVP, Offensive Player of the Year on their team.
for sure.
Um, Man, this one's so hard.
This game will come down to a coin flip in the in the in the
In
in the
overtime,
in
perhaps?
in the overtime. Yeah, I'm definitely think we're getting overtime. Um,
Oh,
I've been saying for weeks Buffalo on this game. Um, do I still feel that way? I don't know. I've become a little contempt. Because I think when I look at this Ravens team, what they did to the Steelers last week was just a
I
showing of
mean, what
strength
they
that we haven't seen in a long time.
with both teams, though.
But
I
both teams,
mean,
for sure. But I
what
mean, who's
about?
better, the Broncos or the Steelers?
I mean, Steelers, I'd say, are slightly better, but
Really?
I don't know, man.
I didn't think so.
Steelers, they just have a great defense, and that's kind of like like the Broncos and the Steelers seem like very similar, where they have two great defenses, and then the
Yeah.
offense is just like mediocre.
Yeah.
So it's like they're very similar to me.
I
So
mean, I'm at a point in my life where I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at these teams, and it's to me, it's a coin flip. Like I just don't know who to pick. Um, both of these
man,
teams are, I don't know. I got nothing. This is rare that I get speechless on this. Um,
I'm thinking.
I'm gonna go with my
So
gut.
what's
I'm
your
gonna
gut?
take I don't know. What do you got? I'm not gonna pick. I don't
I
even have to pick.
I'm gonna stick with the Bills on this game. And the
Why?
only reason why
Yeah.
I trust Josh Allen more than Lamar Jackson.
Oh, but
Meaning Josh has been to those bigger games. Lamar, yes, he's been incredible. He's gonna have his third MVP. That's awesome. But Lamar, playoff record wise, has not been very good. And Josh Allen has been competing at the top every time, no matter what. So I will give the Bills the slight edge because I think their defense is better and just better coached. Um, Running the ball will be very interesting in this game because obviously Derrick Henry to me is much better than James Cook. James Cook has had an incredible year. He's an amazing player. Both these teams are pretty similar when it comes to offensive wise, where you have a dominant quarterback, a dominant running back, and then, you know, good to average receivers. Um, yeah, like I said, I just trust the Bills defense more. I think they can make bigger plays and are gonna be able to stop the run better and, you know, be able to stop Lamar, hopefully. Um, I'll be funny. I'll say this game is like I'll say 24-23, and it'll no. Because I think this game could go into overtime, but you can't predict overtime. No, I'll
I'm
just say
thinking 24.
24-23.
I'm thinking 24 to 21. I've sat
Okay.
here and like I've been
This
saying
is like definitely the best matchup for like the entire playoffs, I think.
the Bills. I've been hell bent on the Bills. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really have. But I'm at a point where
Stick with your gut.
That Ravens team just like they get it. Like they're
And the
clicking.
Bills don't.
No, no, no. I'm not. I'm not saying they don't. Gosh. Lamar Jackson went 17 for 21, two touchdowns, 172 yards when established with time of possession when they're running the ball at a high clip. Does this Bills defense have enough to stop Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and the read option? No. Give me the Baltimore Ravens.
You don't think they
That's
can
it.
stop Derrick Henry and Lamar?
I just don't think the Bills can stop Derrick Henry and Lamar when it comes to the read option.
Then can the Ravens stop Josh Allen?
If it becomes a
Because I
shootout,
think the Ravens defense is worse.
I agree. I 100% agree. But I think Josh is gonna make a mistake or two. I think Lamar plays a pretty clean game. Not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
For some reason, I think Lamar, if he throws anything, it's gonna be one interception, but no more than that. He's gonna play a very clean game. I think they both throw a pick. Um,
Now, so we're hoping this is a close game
but
and
here's my
watch it
thing.
just be a blowout somehow.
No, I think it'll be yeah, right. I think it'll be a shootout. I think it'll be a close game. I think my biggest concern is when comparing James Cook to Derrick Henry, I think it's like you said, like all respect to James Cook, who's had an outstanding season, but Derrick Henry is just a beast. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he's
take
the
the
best
Baltimore
running back in
Ravens.
the league besides Saquon.
I'm gonna take the Baltimore Ravens to win.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't expect to come on here and change my predictions today, but that's what I really thought about it. So,
That's tough. That's a tough one for
oh
sure.
yeah. Well, we've come to an end. How do you feel about your predictions?
Um, I'm confident,
Uh-oh.
I think. The only one that scares me is this Bills Ravens game still. Um, I think I'm pretty clear with the other ones. I think the Eagles could win. I think the Lions will dominate. I think the Chiefs will dominate.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it'll be fun. I'm praying that these games are much better than last week. At least we get some closer games and they're not blowouts like last time. Um, and yeah, so we will see. It'll be fun.
Well, if you've join if you made it to the end. Appreciate you for listening. Type one in the comments, and I'll give you a gift. How about that? But regardless, what a game, what a day. This weekend's gonna be fun. We got all of these games should be competitive. Watch the Rams go and blow out Philly. That'll be shocking.
Don't
But
let me down,
regardless,
Buffalo. Come on now.
yeah, I guess so. But
Eagles, you can let me down. I don't care.
please, Eagles, let us down. Please let us down, Philly. But Matt, appreciate you for joining. Everybody else, thanks for watching. I've been your host, Davion. It's been the post game. Peace.
Peace.